Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're heading to the Mekong Delta in Vietnam for a pretty incredible story. It's got tradition, it's got turmoil, and a really, really clever transformation.
Okay, get this. 59,000 tons. That's not a typo. That is the amount of fish pulled in during just the first few months of 2024 by this one-of-a-kind floating industry in Vietnam's An Giang province. A number like that, well, it tells you there's a fascinating story just waiting to be told.
So let's dive right in. What you're looking at is this incredible culture of raft fishing. It's been going on for decades along these massive rivers, the Tien and the Chau. And you have to understand, this is so much more than just a job for these folks. It's an entire way of life that happens right on the water.
And the scale here, it's just huge. We're talking about almost 1,400 families, that's nearly 1,400 households, living and working on over 3,700 of these rafts. Just picture that for a second. Entire villages just floating there, all built around the business of raising fish.
And wow, the variety of fish they're catching is pretty amazing. You've got your red tilapia, different kinds of carp, the whole shebang. But for a very long time, for decades really, there was one fish that was the absolute king of these rivers, the Basa catfish. And believe me, that one fish is the key to this entire story.
All right, so to really understand what's happening today, we gotta go back. We need to look at the history here. Because the story of this raft village, it's not just about fishing. It's about the crazy meteoric rise and then the just as dramatic fall of that one very special fish.
I mean, the boom was just remarkable.
It all started pretty quietly back in 1968 in this town, Chau. But then, come the 90s, it just exploded. We're talking over 4,000 rafts, and pretty much all of them were focused on Basa. The money it brought in was so huge, so life-changing, that in 2003, the province actually built a statue to honor it. A statue for a fish. That tells you everything.
And this isn't just some dry economic history lesson, right? You can feel how deep and personal this is. Take Mr. Nia, a raft owner. He says his dad was tied to the Basa fish right from the start, so his whole childhood was wrapped up in this fishing life. His memories are literally built on these rafts.
So this fish was so valuable, it got this amazing nickname, Ka Hoang Kim, which means the golden fish. And that wasn't just a cute name. It was literal. The demand for Basa was so insane that it turned regular local fish farmers into actual billionaires. It created this golden age for the whole area.
But you know how these stories go. A golden age can't last forever. After all those years of unbelievable prosperity, well, the tide started to turn. And the community found itself facing a whole new era of really dramatic change. And what a reversal it was. You go from the golden fish era, all this wealth, and then boom, after 2002, the market just tanks. A different, faster-growing catfish called Trey started taking over, and the prices for Basa became completely unpredictable. All of a sudden, there was real hardship and anxiety for the very same people who had become billionaires.
Yeah, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The fishing profession has many joys and sorrows. That feeling of joy from a good catch was suddenly replaced by this constant worry. Harvest time should be the best part, right? But for them, it became this really nerve-wracking moment where everyone was just holding their breath, wondering about the price.
So that brings us to the big question, right? What do you do? How does an industry like this, that's been around for a century, even survive? Their golden fish is gone, the market is a mess. They had to figure something out, or they were going to disappear.
And the answer they found, it's so simple, it's genius. It had nothing to do with finding a new golden fish. Nope. They decided to paint.
It all kicked off with this number, 165. That's how many rafts at the Chau River Junction got a makeover. They were painted in these incredible, vibrant rainbow colors. It was part of a pilot project, and they literally turned their entire floating village into this giant, amazing piece of art.
But here's the clever part. It wasn't just about looking pretty. Painting the rafts was step one in this brilliant pivot to a totally new business model. Suddenly, you have the colorful raft village, and it's an instant hit with tourists. Now the owners can offer tours on their rafts, let people try fishing, and even start serving up local food.
And it's not just about the rafts anymore. That one idea sparked this whole ecosystem of experiences. The colorful rafts are now the hub for all this amazing cultural tourism. You can tour the rafts, sure, but then you can hop on a boat to a historic Chau village, cruise down these ancient canals, see how they weave silk, and oh, the food. You can try famous local dishes like bun ka, that's a fish noodle soup, or these sweet steamed cakes called bun bor. And you get to listen to traditional folk music. The rafts aren't just fish farms anymore. They're the front door to the entire region.
So this whole reinvention, this pivot, it didn't just save their jobs, it gave the entire industry a brand new sense of purpose and a real path into the future. And let's check back in with Mr. Nia, the guy whose family has been doing this forever. You can just feel his optimism. He sees these rafts now not just as a piece of history, but as this crucial link in the chain for the future of tourism for the whole province. But if this new model is going to last, they have to think long-term, and that's exactly what's happening. The focus is shifting to sustainability. Local authorities are helping the farmers protect the river itself. Things like switching to better feed to reduce waste, feeding the fish just the right amount, and even using products that help the fish digest better. It's all about making sure the river that gives them so much can stay healthy for the long haul.
Which brings us to a final, really interesting thought. When this community painted their rafts and opened up to tourists, were they saving their traditional way of life, or did they actually create something brand new? It really makes you think, about what it means to adapt, what parts of a culture do you hold on to, and what parts do you have to be willing to completely reimagine?